The second change that the party needs may even be tougher. The party leadership at a state and federal level and the unions, which have so much power in the Labor Party, have to embrace something that a lot of people regard as antithetical to the political process, and that's ethics. That's high levels of ethical behaviour. Reasonably high levels of ethical behaviour. So a lot of political experts argue that ethical behaviour, or pushing it in politics, is naive. They would say that politics is primarily about an ideological contest or a contest for allocation of resources. Look, I say ethics today, at least in a democratic system, are a political necessity. Voters hate corruption, obviously, as they've shown in New South Wales with the punishment they handed out to Christina Keneally's government. And they don't like the other kind of behaviour that's become common in politics too. Special treatment for political allies and family members, lying, misrepresentation of opponents, and removal of democratically elected leaders because they've upset factional chiefs. Which brings me to my next big question for the Labor Party, which is, what kind of man is the party's new leader, Bill Shorten? Is he the person who can clean up the Labor Party? Well, as I describe in my book, Bill was, and he's riding the white horse here in case it's not subtle enough. Shorten was a pillar of the power structures that did little to stop, and many would say tolerated, the unethical behaviour that so badly damaged the party's reputation. Shorten was a pragmatic minister and a ruthless faction leader. During the Labor leadership contest, Shorten liked to quote Gough Whitlam. That was in part, I believe, because he wanted to avoid people making comparisons with the leader he had most closely styled himself on during his political rise, which is Bob Hawke. Much as Hawke remains a popular figure in the Labor Party, his blokish personal style, I think, is sort of out of touch with modern sensibilities. So having known Shorten, and I struggle to call him Shorten because he's always Bill to me, but it sounds a bit too familiar to call him Bill, closely studied him from my book, I've come to the conclusion that the leader that Shorten most closely resembles is Kevin Rudd. To me, both men epitomise the contradictions of the modern Labor Party. They're skilled at wielding the rhetoric of the Labor struggle to bolster their political positions in public. In private, they're either part of or enjoy association with the upper levels of society, the very wealthy. Both men are very strong media performers and adept at manipulating the press. But in private, both have these highly narcissistic personalities. Both men have reached high office and claimed credit for substantial policy achievements, and they deserve credit for that. Yet behind the scenes, they're quite disorganised, sometimes irresponsibly so.